of transparency that you can imagine. And you know what? It can be done. If we have more time, we're trying to close this out by 6. I would have brought you a slide. Now, Mayor Bloomberg in New York has done one good thing. He has created a website for transparency that will blow your mind. It is like SimCity, if you know SimCity. It is literally that good. He has online a real-time reporting system for how every single agency in the city is meeting or not meeting its benchmarks all the time. And it actually is easy to read. I mean, it shows, you know, red for bad people, green for good, yellow for, you know, and if you look at this thing, it's just phenomenal. You can see how much money they're spending, whether they're meeting their budget, whether they're reducing crime. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the technology here is, you see, part of the problem with transparency is cities like this and governments like to say, well, we're transparent. We just, you know, regurgitate everything and put it on the web. Nobody can use it. No, we can do a lot better. I encourage you to Google New York City's transparency web and just see what they've got going. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And people can easily obtain that software. It's all done for now. The one thing that Bloomberg did wrong, which is I'm sure part of the game, is he uses literally hundreds of benchmarks. And that obscures any real ones. You know, you could have, you know, accumulating paper clips, you know, and that sort of thing, weighing for all intents and purposes the same as, you know, reducing murder rates. But that's something that can be fixed. Now, lastly, of all the ancillary rights that the Local Liberty Charter talks about, we need to have the right to reboot our local governments. Now, that's what the Second Amendment's for our federal government. It's not for hunting. The Second Amendment was never meant to be for hunting, not even for personal protection as much. It was meant to allow decentralized force to keep our governments aware of the fact that the people could rise up if they went too far. And just having that knowledge keeps government honest. Now, you can't have that at the local level, mainly because it's not necessary. If you've got the Second Amendment being protected, and if it's incorporated through the 14th Amendment, then you've already got your guns. That's not what you need. But you do need something similar to that. And I think basically you need two things. There are more in the book report. Let's have a right to vote for none of the above. That actually means something. If 51% of the votes go to none of the above, we do a redo on the election. We keep doing redos until we get something generated by that election that people actually want. Believe it or not, there's lots of precedent for that. I think Nevada has none of the above. It doesn't mean anything, it has no teeth, but it's in, yeah. It's in statute. Next thing. One of the major problems with our local governments right now is that they've contracted with public service unions to provide benefits they cannot possibly provide. But they're locked into it, and those are contracts, and they're protected under the Constitution. Unless you file bankruptcy. What we ought to have for every city is what's spelled out in the Constitution of the city, the Charter of the city, trigger events of insolvency. When the city meets these triggering events, it's insolvent, and citizens then have the right, just like creditors could force a company into bankruptcy, citizens would have the right to force their city into Chapter 9 bankruptcy. That would enable cities to get out from underneath these impossible contracts. And think of this, just having that part of the charter when it comes to renegotiating those union service contracts. Think of the political cover that provides our otherwise cowardly political servants. They can say, hey, this is beyond our hands. You know, these trigger events, we got 2 out of 3 already. Better cut back. Again, that's all we need. I mean, that is right there. You got the finances and you got the politics. You got both of them. You can reboot if necessary. So these are but those are ancillary. I mean, those are structural protections. Those are ways to do government better. This is the way to do government right. You put these into play and you will finally have a justifiable, righteous government. And it's not too hard. That's all it takes. So, here's where the story ends. Bottom line is this: the standard model of municipal policy, ever more bureaucratic planning, spending, borrowing, taxing, regulating, subsidizing, is morally and financially bankrupt. Local politics as usual is utterly impractical. We must now refocus local governance on the core functions of government and freedom-friendly public policy. And that's precisely what the Local Liberty Charter aims to do. Demanding that our cities, counties, and towns respect and secure liberty is no longer a point of debate. It is a practical necessity. And we must begin by organizing charters for our counties, our cities, our towns that will protect our right to a presumption of liberty, to use and enjoy property, to a separation of powers, to freedom from crime, to fiscal responsibility, to accountability, to freedom from favoritism, to genuine local sovereignty, and your right to reconstitute government. Now, my report provides the roadmap, but now it's up to you. Thank you.